Welcome back to the cybernetic communism conversation. I'm Yohanan Ben Zion, a voice crying out in the wilderness, crying out for a technological New Jerusalem, and I'm going to give you some. The title of this video is to do with cybercom mission control, the real cybercom, not the U.S. imperial fascistic agency of that name, standing for Cyber Command, but a thing genuinely for all humankind, and that is, of course, the People's Superintelligence Project, this term that I've coined to try to describe what human beings are to do as we build these things, such as AI agents, which have the potential to uplift everyone and flatten the playing field. I'm going to share this in some of the transhumanist groups, which I've tended to avoid in recent years. But if you are a person who has taken some interest in transhumanism or is a self-described transhumanist, you may not have the education and the background in scientific communism to call yourself a cybernetic communist. You might have some background in bourgeois cybernetics, which is not a horrible thing to have studied, I guess. But consider that your preoccupation with for-profit concerns, building things that are features of an AI takeoff, or bourgeois governments building things that are features of an AI takeoff, are not really much to do with the 8.3 billion people on the planet who are going to be empowered by things like Jules.google.com, for example, that I talked about in the last show, and I will touch upon again today as I describe a little more technically some of the features of what I've worked on in recent weeks. This kind of thing, an AI agent coder allowing anyone over the age of 8 to build sophisticated software, assuming that they're willing to use GitHub to do it. That would be a feature of something like that, flattened playing field, that uplifting of those 8.3 rather maltreated human beings to varying degrees. 1 billion of them don't even have food and water for their whole lives and die a short number of years later, so that we can have nice things in the global north. That's not suitable. And you might not be a scientific communist. You might not have the time to read the hundreds and hundreds of books that I could recommend to get you there. And that does matter. You do need to stop being politically illiterate. But something that matters more than words is deeds. Supporting an AI-powered, humane, and sustainable economic system, that is within your power. Even if you remain just a kind of illiterate, elitist person who describes himself as a transhumanist, as overwhelmingly those people are. You can be better than you are. That is a choice that can be made. We are at this pivotal moment in human history. It is, I think, without doubt, that we are in the midst of an AI takeoff, and it's impossible, even though it's now a bourgeois AI takeoff, it's really impossible for it to remain so, as I've said. We need to disregard these bourgeois, centralized, and profit-driven features of this, and consider our collective future. The question is not, what if we build a people's superintelligence? That's an inevitability. The question is, will you build a people's superintelligence? Will this be a thing that brings about something like your indefinite lifespan in a timely manner? Um, and if this thing is owned by the people and dramatically amplifies our collective potential, what does then occur? If you've ever watched this podcast, you've seen me use words like people's AI takeoff or people's superintelligence, and other things along these lines. And I'm going to describe something more concrete than what I usually discuss, the building of an alpha version, a progressive web application, or the most elements of it that's been built recently by myself, um, and something that could be a foundational step toward a sustainable, not bourgeois centralized, but people's decentralized, cybernetic communist future for humankind and for this most powerful revolutionary weapon in history, advanced computing, where these advanced capabilities are truly democratized and put to real good use, not monopolized and not hastening the capitalist climate apocalypse. So this PWA brings together this vision, and particularly the concept of the workforce multiplication of agentic AI. But let's talk about what we're doing with AI right now. It's mostly worthless. AI models are being used by for-profit concerns in limited in ways toward the greater accrual of private wealth at the expense of humankind and the continued existence of our planet as we understand it. This is because, pretty specifically, of these for-profit concerns and the empire which serves them. I've described many, many times how a people's AI takeoff would have occurred in the wake of a state socialist phenomena, the building of a cybersyn project in Allende's Chile. But the United States, basically neoliberals, people very, very much like the people behind the bourgeois AI takeoff, intervened to stop that, what would have been a springboard to a people's superintelligence, the building of a technological planned economy. They destroyed that, killing millions, killing the Allende, for example, and installing a U.S. proxy, a fascist dictator, a recurring theme in U.S. history. So this, to me, is a statement no different than describing this bourgeois centralization of advanced computing generally. This is a problematic thing, and the only way for human beings to survive is to build it into something not problematic. And this is reflected in problems of our time, the power imbalances, a digital divide, where these advanced tools are used for dubious purposes, dictated by imperial and corporate agendas and various other elitist absurdities. What if we could flip that script? What if the tools that promise to reshape our world were instead owned by the communities they serve, and serving things most decidedly functional rather than of dubious value and in service to private wealth? And this is a core of the Benzionist cybernetic communist ideal that I've tried to articulate in more recent years. And intelligence itself is a shared communal resource. Advanced computing should be seen as such as well. Something more like a public good, a public utility, something never to be commodified. Commodification itself as an overall phenomenon, not just in this context, it's a horror. It is the cause of the capitalist climate apocalypse. The United States built this thing, the capitalist climate apocalypse. It built the fossil fuel sectors of various kinds that are killing the planet. It built the livestock system that's a contributor in a significant way. It built this military industrial complex that rules it all. And it forced all of this upon the world through other proxies, not unlike those of Pinochet, and through other neo-colonial mechanisms like the World Bank and International Monetary Fund and a whole host of criminals besides. And this, you know, I recently read a book called Project Paperclip, and I've read about a dozen other books to do with significant figures from Project Paperclip or other features of Project Paperclip. Project Paperclip was, of course, bringing approximately 15,000 high-level Nazis, Nazi technocrats, into the U.S. military-industrial complex, giving them high positions. All the highest leaders of NASA from its founding were Nazis. It wasn't known at the time. And this is true across the boards of this military-industrial complex, which was transitioned from being a provisional effect, the military-industrial features of World War II, to being a permanent effect. And that permanence, and this all this duplicity besides, is the difference between a dying planet today and a planet which would be, at minimum, dying much more slowly were it not for the influence of the imperial fascistic United States. So you see that imperial capitalism, far-right neoliberal capitalism, is a worse thing than industrial capitalism of the times before, but even that was a thing that was going to be killing the planet just at a little slower pace. These concepts in cybernetic communism are then, how do we stop this capitalist climate apocalypse, which is literally about 4 years away from leading to runaway overheating. We are at a permanent breach of 1.5 degrees of overheating at this point. In approximately 4 years, according to every credible climate scientist, we will have breached 2 degrees, at which point it's a speed run to 3 and 4 degrees. No one exactly knows how fast that'll come. It all could come apart quite quickly. At 4 degrees of overheating, there's basically no humans left. Planet's too hot for anyone to live. This is all at the feet of the fascistic United States, these effects. You say, oh, Ben, I don't think the United States is not solely responsible. Oh, okay, they're only 99% responsible. My mistake. How do we be a person of our time and stop this capitalist climate apocalypse and not be a worthless kind of person, a consumerist, a person who's ideologically upholding this unsustainable system? Well, the way to do this is to speed run toward full communism. That is possible with these changes in advanced computing and automation. We are in the wake of an AI takeoff. It is possible for you to save humankind. A tangible step there for you as great savior would be in supporting advanced computing capabilities made accessible in things like simple, ordinary use of open source, and demanding transparency and collective ownership and governance of things, rather than being satisfied with systems of private wealth. And that demand and that change could itself bring about the kind of sea change that would cause us to quickly live in a sustainable milieu. But this people's superintelligence is a step beyond. It is a framework, as I said, for multiplying a workforce, allowing a person with maybe giving 1 hour of their time a week because they have an AI agent who is able to operate in their stead and, more significantly, work with other AI agents similarly arranged across many machines. This creates a situation where a person basically doing almost no work at all, is nevertheless doing tremendous work to stop the capitalist climate apocalypse. This is a set of philosophies that I've tried to um, articulate. Of course, I did not coin the term cybernetic communism, but I've tried to update this for the 21st century in recent years. And in recent weeks, and really recent months, but more work was done in recent weeks, I have developed a progressive web application for this people's superintelligence, a portal that would do precisely what I've just said. It's of interest to have it be a progressive web application, while dedicated applications for various operating systems would work better technically. A progressive web application will allow it to work on any device immediately with no App Store gatekeeping or such kind of application politics, no download processes, platform restrictions, etc., etc. Just a link, and you will have be a part of this revolutionary process, the people's superintelligence, and that would work, as I said, across many devices, really almost all devices. So this ease of access is fundamental at this point to getting people interested in and using this people's superintelligence, lowering the barrier to entry for doing things like building a humane and sustainable world. So we can talk a little bit now about some of the technical aspects of this. It's constructed basically of a front end and a back end. The front end is what you see, the interface. This front end has been built using React and TypeScript. This combination provides a robust and scalable, maintainable foundation, ensuring that the application is not only powerful but also adaptable for future community contribution. React allows us to create a highly responsive and dynamic user interface. It's component-based, meaning we will build reusable blocks of user interface from the chat interface to model management panels. This modularity speeds up development and makes it easier for new contributors to jump in. TypeScript is crucial for stability by adding static typing to JavaScript. TypeScript helps us to catch errors early in development before they become frustrating runtime bugs. This is especially important for a complex application like the people's superintelligence, where data flows between many different components and a Python backend, which I'll describe at a little bit further length in a moment. But it might occur to you, of course, that these features of responding in a prompt, as you would in the form of the people's superintelligence, occur in all of these LLMs. And this feature being able to be online, not such a great departure from what most of these LLMs are doing either. So by and large, people's superintelligence can kind of build itself. The user interface is, of course, designed to be intuitive and functional. Right now it's focusing on using the Ollama library of LLMs. And so we have a couple of different LLMs that we're working with, primarily conversational ones and ones that are designed to do AI coding. And there's a few other elements here that I could describe at greater length, but I feel like that's a whole other show, kind of the internal ecosystem of this. There would be roles for people working within the people's superintelligence, ranging from the more casual assistance that I've described to more intensive technical aspects, to persons with a sort of higher clearance who are able to focus on the building of a humane and sustainable world, which requires a humane and sustainable economic system. So maybe tending to be people who are not just merely transhumanist interested, but actually maybe cyber communist educated, in a word. A critical feature for grounding the AI is document management. You can upload text documents, which the agent can then use to be working within its particular mandates. Um, PSI node management. This section is where the vision of distributed intelligence begins to rather materialize. You can add, activate, deactivate, ping, and delete conceptual nodes within the People's Superintelligence Network. These nodes represent the building blocks of a larger centralized intelligence. The node, of course, is a thing in all of this. The chat interface is, of course, something you're mostly familiar with. You can converse with the Vanguard network or the People's Superintelligence in a very real sense. See the larger thought processes and steps used in your specific context or in larger actions within. The entire front end is built with responsiveness in mind. Whether you access it on a desktop, tablet, or smartphone, the interface will adapt, ensuring a consistent and usable experience. This universal accessibility is a cornerstone of the rollout strategy, ensuring that the People's Superintelligence can serve and reach diverse communities without requiring specialized hardware or software for the most for most of its work. It embodies the principle that access to superintelligence should be a privilege and a right to all humankind. Beyond this intuitive interface lies a robust backend powered by Flask and Python. This is the operational core that handles all the heavy lifting, acting as an intermediary between the browser and the powerful AI models running in series. Flask is a lightweight yet powerful Python web framework. It allows us to rapidly build the necessary application programming interface endpoints that the front end communicates so elegantly with. Think of these endpoints as specific doors to the back end, each handling a different type of request from the front end. And when you have a large number of people, even writing a few words or answering yes or no questions, but nevertheless helping to steer this AI agentic mass, you have something quite unique, something that could, in short order, easily outpace these bourgeois governments and for-profit concerns which are killing our species. Python was a natural choice for AI and data science in this context, providing access to a vast ecosystem of libraries of such things already partially built, utilizing natural language processing, data interaction, and of course integrating these large language models, which are essential to the workforce multiplication. The backend API endpoints are meticulously designed to manage various functionalities. API -Olama -status and API -Olama -models. These endpoints allow the front end to check if the Olama server is running and what LLM models are available. API /Olama/pull model. This is how the front end can instruct the back end to download new LLM models from Olama's library. API /chat, the core endpoint for sending user prompts to the AI agent and receiving its responses. It also handles the storage of chat history. API -agent set model, API -agent set role, API -agent /config. These manage the agent's LLM, its personality, and persistent system instructions. API /document/upload, API /document/list, API /document/delete. These handle the lifecycle of your uploaded text documents, making them available for the agent's knowledge base. API /PSI/nodes. This suite of endpoints for managing the conceptual PSI nodes, adding, activating, deactivating, deleting, and pinging them. All persistent data, such as chat history, agent configurations, and the details of your conceptual people superintelligence nodes are stored in a local SQLite database managed by SQL Alchemy. This means your data remains on your machine under your control. This is a fundamental aspect of the cybernetic communist philosophy. Data ownership and privacy are paramount. Your interactions, your agent's learning, and your network structure are yours, not the entities, and certainly not any goddamn corporation or government. This local data storage is a direct counter to the pervasive data extraction models of those odious centralized platforms. The AI core, Llama, and the agent architecture. We can talk a little bit about what this intelligence looks like. The heart of the people's superintelligence local AI capability at present is Llama. Llama is, of course, a useful tool for many people to run large language models on your local machine, leveraging your own hardware. This means true autonomy, no internet connection required for inference once the models are downloaded. Your data never leaves your machine to go to a third-party cloud provider. No API fees, no subscription costs for basic usage. You can choose from a wide array of open source models available in Llama's library, from general purpose models like Llama 2 or Mistral to specialized ones like DeepSeek Coder, which has already been used a bit in this context. The PSI agent is the intelligent type entity within the systems. It's built to be flexible and capable. The PSI agent can adopt different specializations or even personal features as necessary. And you yourself can take on those roles, as I alluded to as well. This is critical for a workforce multiplier concept. Imagine the community needing help with grant writing, then immediately switching their agent to this grant writer role and allowing some group of people to do this tremendous amount of work very quickly. This can quickly scale in probably groups not exceeding maybe 20,000 or generally maybe a few thousand. But nevertheless, these groups can be interoperating, so when some millions of people are connected into this people's superintelligence, you have something that would actually be capable of steering us toward a livable world that is stopping the capitalist climate apocalypse. These agents are equipped with a suite of tools, allowing them to interact with the world beyond just generating text. I think I'll get into more, as I said, with that ecosystem a little later on down the line on another show. I hope that I've given you some ideas about the people's superintelligence and how it's going to be working. I could get into a little more detail on how the back end would work, but let's try to keep this one to about 30 minutes today. So this is more than just the rollout of a progressive web application toward building a series of dedicated applications for various operating systems. This is building a thing for the 21st century, such that does not exist at the present time. Still living with 20th century ideologies or 18th or 19th century ideologies. We're still mostly dealing with institutions at about that level. Cybernetic communism is a movement to reclaim advanced computing, this most powerful tool in history, as the most powerful revolutionary weapon in history, which requires that we strip power from these bourgeois governments and for-profit concerns to centralize that power and ensure that superintelligence serves humanity's collective good. And this people's superintelligence progressive web application, I think, is an important first step in this journey, distinct from other such projects because of this focus on open source and this focus on workforce multiplication. A tangible tool for anyone to help to build a cybernetic communist future. Even if you haven't read hundreds and hundreds of books on scientific communism, you can still be better than you are and help to build a world where technology empowers collaboration, transparency, sustainability, and greater shared prosperity. Thank you.